This video goes over the 9 components of the C.A.M.P model. We will go over them one by one. Component 1, Core Didactics. There are 18 hours of core didactics. This training can be done over 3 days, similar to a CPP Learning Collaborative, or it can be broken into smaller segments to allow for greater dialogue and a slower pacing of learning. Because it may be challenging to conduct core didactics every time new staff join the agency, we encourage C.A.M.P agencies to collaborate with other CPP trainers or campsites to jointly hold didactic trainings at regular intervals. This has the benefit of promoting collaboration and sharing of resources between CPP agencies. Component 2, Read the manuals. The required manual is Don't Hit My Mommy. A second book that is highly recommended is Psychotherapy with Infants and Young Children. The agency mentorship team needs to ensure that those in training read the manual. Many agencies have decided to hold a CPP book club. Component 3, Work with families using CPP. This requirement is the same as for a CPP Learning Collaborative. Clinician participants provide CPP to at least 4 families in the 18-month period. Supervisors who are being trained in CPP work with at least 2 families. For both, at least 2 families must be seen for at least 16 sessions. At least one of these 2 must have started from the beginning and included the foundational phase. Both must have included dyadic sessions. For clinician participants, the other 2 families must be seen for at least 4 face-to-face sessions in any treatment phase for them to count towards the case requirement. For each family, the child is under age 6 at intake and has experienced at least one trauma. We count separation from a primary caregiver as a trauma. For those working with at least 4 families, there can be one exception to these criteria, in that one child could be age 6, or one case might involve a pregnant woman or a baby under 18 months of age, where the caregiver's trauma history is the primary reason for referral and the baby has not experienced a traumatic event. Component 4, CPP Supervision. Agency apprentice trainers provide weekly CPP supervision to training participants. 1 hour a week minimum of individual supervision or small group supervision involving no more than 2 people, or 2 hours for groups of 3 to 4 staff. In the C.A.M.P model, supervisors provide reflective supervision and clinical mentoring and training on CPP. It is important that staff members are able to present their cases each week. This is the reason for the small group size. Whenever possible, it is recommended that staff receive supervision from 2 different supervisors to benefit from diversity in supervision styles and potential differences in strengths related to CPP core competencies. During the course of the CPP training, the agency apprentice trainers receive twice-a-month consultation from C.A.M.P mentors on CPP supervision. Component 5, CPP Case Conference. The agency team, including the apprentice trainers, plus all training participants and any staff who are trained through prior CPP training efforts, participate in a CPP case conference, held at least once a month for an hour, although more frequent and longer case conferences are recommended. Training participants present at least twice on their cases. The team discusses their work. This allows for case-based learning as a team, and it allows participants to learn from each other, as well as from trainers who are not directly supervising them. If an agency is small, we encourage them to join with other C.A.M.P agencies in the area to conduct the CPP case conference, as this allows for richer learning and greater collaboration across agencies. Component 6, Case Presentations. As mentioned before, each C.A.M.P participant ideally presents twice. Presenting includes completing the case presentation template and providing some clinical material such as video or process notes for reflection. This allows the group to really think about and support the therapist in making clinical interventions. Component 7, Intensive CPP Competency Building Workshop. A minimum of 2 days, 12 hours of intensive case-based learning. This may be organized in smaller sessions, such as 4 half-day sessions spread out across the training period. We do, however, think that there is something about a team dedicating an entire day to learning a model that tends to result in greater gains in their capacity to implement CPP. Somehow intensive learning promotes growth. This workshop may be conducted in collaboration with other CPP agencies in the region or state. Workshop participants include the CPP Agency Apprentice Trainer Team and training participants, of course. It is wonderful if agency senior leaders participate in at least some portion of the workshop, as this enables them to get a better understanding of CPP, to understand any challenges and barriers to implementing CPP within the agency, and to provide support around agency fidelity. Workshop activities may include in-depth case presentations with video and process notes, CPP skill building, such as practicing responding to different ports of entry or role-playing interventions, additional didactics as needed, discussions about fidelity, discussions about implementation and compatibility of CPP and agency procedures and ways to align the two. Component 8. Complete the fidelity measures. Each CAMP training participant should complete fidelity measures on 2 clients during the training time. Ideally one who represents a significant challenge and one that is not as challenging to the clinician. Training participants review the measure with their CPP supervisor. At regular intervals, both supervisors and supervisees complete the supervision fidelity instrument. Another aspect of fidelity is systems consultation and fidelity monitoring. There are typically 3 calls held during the 18-month period focused on agency fidelity. This is typically separate from the CPP supervision mentorship call. Although in some cases, if the senior leader is a member of the CPP agency training team, this component may be conducted as part of the supervision call. The call is held with the CPP development team or an approved CPP trainer designated by the development team. The goals of this component are to ensure that agency and CPP procedures are aligned, to ensure CPP fidelity, to support sustainability, and to foster the development of a relationship between the agency training team and the CPP development team. As part of agency fidelity, the agency team and the mentorship team jointly complete the agency fidelity plan, which identifies how procedural fidelity will be carried out in the agency. Component 9. The 9th and final component is CPP technology. The CPP agency team works with administrative staff from the CPP development team or an endorsed representative to ensure that they can access all training materials, and to ensure that they are capable of using CPP systems to monitor training participation, to capture fidelity data, and to add participants to the CPP roster when they've completed training. The next video in the CAMP video series describes the mentorship process for each of the components.